This graph tracks the exact moment Ada's life became a target. For years, her late mother's land was just another village plot, but a new appraisal revealed a billion-dollar valuation that changed the stakes overnight. When the news broke, Ada's stepmother, Grace, didn't react with shock or anger. She simply sat there and smiled. She spoke softly, inviting Ada to eat with a gentleness that felt entirely forced. Ada couldn't shake the memory of her grandmother's warning, "When evil begins to smile, be careful." This sudden hospitality suggested that Grace wasn't moving toward peace, but was instead neutralizing Ada's defenses before launching an attack. The attack began the next morning with a public outcry. Grace stood in the compound, screaming that her gold necklace had been stolen. As neighbors gathered, Grace directed a targeted search straight to Ada's room. Within moments, a neighbor reached under Ada's sleeping mat and pulled out the missing necklace. The social fallout was immediate. Grace played the role of the betrayed benefactor, crying for the cameras of public opinion. Ada's father provided no defense, choosing to believe the evidence over his own daughter. The village guards arrived within the hour to escort Ada to the chief. As she was led away, the walk became a gauntlet of public condemnation, with neighbors and children pointing and labeling her a thief before she could even reach the hall. This sequence shows how easily planted evidence can weaponize existing social prejudice. When a physical object is found, it often overrides a logic of the situation, destroying the victim's reputation before they can speak. Inside the village hall, the chief sat in his chair, ready to deliver a judgment stripping Ada of her status and her inheritance. Grace took the stand and delivered a calculated performance. She used fake tears and a trembling voice to convince the chief she had tried to love Ada, but this theft was a step too far. The chief focused entirely on the necklace. To him, the fact the object was found in Ada's room was the only proof required to close the case. Ada was left entirely without a defense. Without her father's support or any witnesses to her character, her verbal denials were useless against the physical evidence presented to the court. This is a closed narrative loop. By combining an emotional performance with a single piece of manufactured evidence, the accuser ensures that the authority figure stops looking for the actual facts. Just as the chief was about to rule, the lawyer entered the hall and halted the proceedings, claiming he had evidence that would change the entire case. The lawyer presented a map showing a small shop located directly across from the family compound. The shop's security camera projected a cone of vision that caught everyone entering or leaving Ada's room. He played the footage from the previous night. At midnight, a figure was seen quietly approaching Ada's room, looking around to ensure no one was watching. The video showed the figure entering the room and placing the necklace under the mat. The lawyer paused the frame for a clear identification. It was Grace. The hall went silent. Grace's face turned pale as the village realized the theft was a fabrication. Her husband stood up so quickly his chair hit the floor. In an environment where the truth is usually determined by who is most convincing, a digital recording provides an unchangeable set of facts that hearsay cannot overcome. Caught on tape, Grace immediately changed her strategy. She dropped to her knees and confessed, but claimed she only planted the necklace because she was terrified for her child's future. She claimed Ada had threatened to evict her and her son the moment she received the inheritance money, framing her crime as a desperate act of maternal protection. This new emotional layer worked. Instead of punishing Grace for the frame-up, the chief used the complexity of her claim to delay the final ruling, calling for a full council hearing months away. Exposing the lie didn't end the conflict. A skilled manipulator simply shifts the narrative to victimhood, buying enough time to create new doubts and delay justice. As the hearing ended in a stalemate, the lawyer took Ada aside and handed her a secret document that had been kept in reserve. It was a letter from Ada's mother with a final directive. If the inheritance was ever challenged, Ada was to find a woman named Amina. The lawyer admitted he had been searching for Amina for years without success, adding a new layer of mystery to the mother's hidden plan. The search ended abruptly when a black SUV stopped in front of them. A woman stepped out, walked to Ada, and introduced herself as Amina. The battle for the billion-dollar estate has now moved beyond a simple property dispute. Amina's arrival indicates that the land holds secrets that Ada's mother was protecting until the moment her daughter was most at risk.